All right, IV Sports Podcast, another video. This video, we're going to talk about the beloved Chicago Cubs. Actually, you could say beloved with some pride because the Chicago Cubs are headed to the playoffs. Who would have thought that? Yeah, all of that. Halfway, knock on wood. Yeah, you hope for the best, but Chicago teams know how to hurt your heart a little bit. So the Chicago Cubs with a 8-4 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. No. Is it the Pirates? Yes, it is. Why I'm thinking Buccaneers. Too many teams with ships. Anyways, Pittsburgh Pirates 8-4. That's not really the important part of the game. The Cubs with this win clinch the playoff spot. They will probably, more than likely, unless they crash out in these last 10 games, have the first playoff wild card, which the way it's lining up, it's probably going to be them in San Diego in that round. But I mean, the Cubs 88-64 with 10 games left. They have the Reds. They have 4 games with the Reds. They have the Mets and they have the Cardinals. So I think they can pick up some more victories. And also, they won 7 out of the last 8, getting some good pitching. And I think there's some spot things they can work on, of course. Kyle Tucker is still out, but Moises has stepped in. I don't even want to call you by your first name because I know I'm going to mess up your last name. I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to practice it a little bit more. So, Moises has stepped up from AAA. He's been pretty good. And Calera. You have Casey. You had some of these young guys come in. Even while this team has had some slumping players that is part of the heart of their lineup, you still have been able to maintain that playoff spot. They was the division leaders, and then Milwaukee went crazy and started running off multiple 10-game winning streaks. So, I mean, what can you do? But Milwaukee has cooled off a little bit. Not enough to give up the division, but they have cooled off, come back to earth. That's just baseball. But the Cubs seem to be finding their swing. Ian Happ is doing what he usually does. It's just at the end of the season, which is hopefully going to carry for another month, because he seems to get hot in streaks, and it seems like this is the time. I hope he doesn't run out of gas by the time the playoffs start. We got a few more weeks, big bro. Can you keep hot? Because sometimes you get it going in May or June, and then by August it starts to decline. So can you help us out, big bro? Can you give us a couple more? No, just go ahead and give us a solid another month and a half, and then I think we should be in the World Series by then. Appreciate you. Good looking boy. Ian Happ's a good dude. So yeah, we can get him keep him going. We hope that Pete Crow Armstrong. The thing with Pete Crow Armstrong is, now I'm not a hitting professional. I have no prior experience. This is just something I see with my eye. Hence the name IV Sports Podcast. But Pete Crow Armstrong, I think you could draw more walks, a lot more walks, if you just lay off some of them pitches. A lot of your pitches are sac flies, which drive in a run, but you're still losing that out. And outside of a homer here and a few singles there, it has been a slump. And this is how he built his all-star appearance based off of what he did in the first half, which was taking a lot of these pitches that he's struggling with now out of the park. But it seems like pitchers have made some adjustments, and he's making contact, which is always good. But at the same time, some of these pitches you might need to lay off. Like a lot of these sac flies might be a walk, and you might have to just kill him on the bases, which is a thing that with him he's so special, because if he gets on base, he can steal second, third, and you can move him around on the base. He's not going to be just stagnant. You got to hope for another player to hit the ball to advance him. He's just an all-around player like that. But some of these hits, he might just have to go for a single and get on base and work his way through that, instead of hitting the ball and it's a pop fly and you lose it out. It's been working a little bit, but driving in a run in certain situations, but You don't want that to be your bread and butter, being a sacrifice out. Suzuki, hopefully he comes back around. He had some days off. He probably needed it. Kyle Tucker, he's had some time off, but he's needed because this is your 3, 4, and 5 hitters. I mean, these are your 2 through 5 hitters. You need these guys to perform, and if you don't perform, just like any team in baseball, if your harder your order doesn't perform, you're on borrowed time. But the Cubs have dealt with this since July, and here we are in September talking about they have a playoff spot. So that says something with the team. All the mismanagement of the bullpen, the slumping, the injuries, and they still, the Phillies and the Brewers are the only teams in baseball that have clinched the playoff spot. So, and Philly is a World Series contender, and so is Milwaukee. Don't get at me, Cubs fans. I know what I said. They got it together. Who knows what's gonna happen in the playoffs? But regular season, they look like that. So yeah, you got to count for something because this team has had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of injuries. Pitching has been with the bullpen. It's a lot of rotation. Craig Counsell has had some games where you wasn't sure what the point was of that situation, but through all of that, this is an 88-64 team, and they look like they're continuing to get on a roll. And I mean, you have 4 games against the Reds. They're pretty much on the back end of the season. They're still in the wild card hunt for the second spot, but it's not looking good. And then you have the Mets, who has been slumping since, I don't know, they've been slumping since the 4th of July, it seems like, but, you know, God bless them. I don't know, the Mets, I don't know, every time I think the Mets is going to take off, they go on an unnecessary losing streak. So I don't know. Maybe I need to not think about the Mets and that help them. But anyways, you have them, you have the Cardinals, another team like the Reds in their division, but it's a team they're planning for next year, not really this year. So 10 games left. You could probably get 6 or 7 of those. I mean, at this point, you're just tacking on and making sure you keep your home game for that first series. But this is the time you probably need to rest some of these guys as well. Like maybe PCA, Suzuki, they get some more rest. Kyle Tucker, who's been on the injury list, he gets healthy. Valencia, he's on the 15-day DL. You know, let these guys rest up. And then by the time the playoffs start, you have a full roster pretty much. And guys are ready to go. They didn't, you know, knocked off some of that rust. Maybe let them play a game or 2 towards the back end of the year. But you're pretty much done, which is something that you don't say about the Cubs in a good way. Usually they're done, not gonna make the playoffs, let's go ahead and plan for next year. But they're done like there's nothing really for them to do because they're not gonna beat the Brewers for the division and they have a playoff spot. And they're probably 8, I believe they're 8. Let me see, because we go by stats over here. They're about 4 or 5 games up on the Padres. So unless they take the rest of these games, they're pretty much going to have that home field advantage for that first series. So kind of got to start thinking about that. But hats off to the Cubs. You have got through a lot. I've never seen a team where their 2 through 6 players slump all at the same time, like consistently, like just slump. No home runs, barely hitting. And they just continue to find ways to win. Other guys have pitched in. Defense, pitching has won a lot, even though some pitchers have been up and down. Still a pretty good team, and I guess we have to give Craig Counsell, even though a lot of people don't want to. He has held this team together, and he has made it work with what he's had. Yeah, has he mismanaged a few games? Probably could have tacked on some more wins. Yeah, of course. But I think that's every team in baseball. There's a lot of teams in baseball that probably mismanaged at least 5 to 10 games a year. I mean, it's just how it goes. But hats off to the Cubs. Hopefully you guys keep rolling. Guys come back, get healthy, and you're just ready for the playoffs. Maybe this could be Lee, don't do it. Maybe this could be close to, well, we just gonna see. They in the playoffs, so let's just see, because we got to knock on wood. We don't want to jinx ourselves. You know, all of that. So That's not a gang sign. I really just don't want to jinx the Cubs. So we just hope for the best. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hope for the best. But I appreciate y'all watching this video. I will catch you on the next one.